161st and River, and on this nice Tuesday morning, we're going to more in-depth preview the Boston-Tampa series for this week, as well as some general from the American League East, as yesterday wrapped up in kind of a perfect best-case scenario for the Yankees in terms of results-wise for opponents, which rarely happens these days, but yesterday was one of those rare days where it happened. So we're going to start with the upcoming schedule for the next 2 days in terms of pitching. I think I have what the pitching's going to be for that Tampa series. For the Boston series, and I have that in the other tab as well. As we could see here, this is the probable starters for the Yankees-Rays series. It'll be Rodon against BOS tonight. Then it'll be Cam Schlittler against Drew Rasmussen tomorrow. Shane Baz is actually a good matchup for the Yankees. I was looking at some of the numbers before, and I actually have the Yankee lineup. Boone announced it a little while ago on Talking Yanks, and pretty much announced it on WFAN this morning. So I have the Yankee lineup in another tab. I'll pull it up in a second. But I was reading through some of the career numbers against Shane Baz tonight from the Yankees. And a lot of the numbers actually looked, not bad. Like Judge bats .375 against him with a homer. Grish has a homer off him. I believe it was a leadoff shot last time. Jazz Chisholm bats .600 off him in 5 at bats. Ben Rice has not had a hit off him. Stanton has not had a hit off him. Volpe is 1 for 5 against him. Austin Wells, who's not in there, actually has very good numbers off him. And Bellinger and Caballero and McMahon have not faced him. So the lineup for tonight, I'll flip to that quickly because I want to talk a little bit more about the lineup, but I need the lineup. This is going up at 2:30. I have it scheduled. I didn't want to put it up now just in case something changes. I don't foresee it happening. The lineup is Grisham, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Rice, Goldschmidt, Chisholm, Volpe, Caballero. Another thing, I'm going to have this up in a few minutes when I get off. Ahmed Rosario is being activated off the injured list. I posted that yesterday, and Aaron Boone confirmed it today that that Rosario is being activated. JC Escaro was optioned yesterday to AAA Scranton, so there's that. The Rays are always a challenge because they are a scrappy bunch, and that happens. And I'm pulling up the numbers now just to fact check me. From what I remember and from what I feel based on what I mean watching this team, not just against the Yankees, but against the division overall and other games in here, I'm right. They struggle against left-handed pitching. They have a cumulative .229 batting average and a team OPS under 700 under about 650, 653 team average against left-handed pitching. Now against left-handed starting, it's a little bit better. Actually, no, it's worse. A .223 batting average with a .286 on base percentage. The OPS is a little bit. They don't hit lefty starting at all. Not well. And I feel like I remember that just by watching the team. Sometimes the best scouting report isn't the numbers. Sometimes it's just watching them perform. Watching the Rays this year against Rodon and against Fried, I believe that was 4 starts. I believe between the two of them, they gave up 2 runs. Maybe 3. It was that third Fried run. Between the two of them, they've given up 3 runs in 4 starts, which is spectacular. the Rays struggle for the most part against left-handed pitching. This will only be the second time this year they've seen Rodon, which also gives the Yankees an advantage. They haven't seen him too much. I think it's the second time we've seen BOS, which, it is what it is at that point. But the Yankees tonight have an opportunity. I'm going to pull up what I posted up last night in terms of the wild card and division. This is the current AL East standings. The Yankees are back in second place, according to MLB. It's really they're tied for second place with the Red Sox, but because the Yankees have, I guess, lost one less game, even though they both have the same winning percentage, the Yankees get precedent, even though if the season ended today, the Red Sox would be in second, the Yankees would be in third, and the Yankees would own the second wild card, I think, because the Yankees are 5-1 against Seattle in their 6 matchups. The Yankees are 1-5 against Boston in their 6 matchups, but they have 7 to go. And that's why this weekend, and why we're going to talk about it in a minute, is so important. So this is the current wild card picture. Detroit leads the American League by a half game. Then Toronto, who Vlad Guerrero Jr. is looks like might be out for a little bit. If this injury is what it is, he might not be. He might not be around for a while. So if it's a if it's a hamstring injury or something of the like, he's not going to be around, which is going to stink for them, but it's going to be good for the Yankees. It was kind of poo-pooed today of like no one felt bad for the Yankees when all of our guys got hurt. We shouldn't have to feel bad for anyone else. And I don't feel bad. I don't want him to be hurt, but I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo it. If Vladdy's out for an extended period of time, does that make the Toronto Blue Jays a better team or a worse team? We'd all agree they're a worse team. And the Yankees currently hold the first wild card, which is important. Now, they're 5 flat back in the division. This weekend is the division. This weekend against Boston is the division. Now, I don't know what Boone. I'll get into what Boone had to say about the injury. This weekend is the division. If, for whatever reason, the Yankees have to... Okay, if the Yankees split 4 with Boston this weekend, I call it a success. Boston plays us hard. We don't play well against Boston. I don't know why. Then again, you have Alex Cora's record against the Yankees in August and September since 2019, and I think they've won like 10 games, like cumulative, and the Yankees have won like 30 or something, like nuts. Like it was like a crazy stat by Bob Nightingale of USA. I'm gonna find it. It was a crazy stat, and it's like I still don't trust it because there's always that one wild card game or something like that. And you know what? Previous play you can never say. You never reel. The next game, the next 6 are against the East, the next 6 are against the East, and this is gonna be something. The East is gonna come down to a couple games. It's not gonna be a blowout. It's not gonna be like a runaway division like everyone initially thought. Everyone thought the Yankees were gonna run away with the division. That's not happening. And I don't think the Blue Jays are going to play as good as they are. I don't think Toronto's as good as what they've shown. I don't think the Yankees are as bad as what they've played over the past 2 months. I think that we're going to start to see the playing field even up accordingly as time goes on. Now, if playing time evens out soon, which is what I suppose, that's what I think. I think that playing time is going to build together. I think that Toronto is going to start to fall off a bit, and we've seen that. Toronto has not been the powerhouse they've been, but the Yankees haven't been the powerhouse that they should be. Okay, here it is. From Bob Nightingale. If history repeats itself, the Red Sox could be in for serious trouble in the making the postseason with 7 games remaining against the Yankees. The Red Sox are 5-14 at Fenway Park and 4-20 at Yankee Stadium in August and September since 2019. So that's a combined 34-9 the Yankees are against the Red Sox since 2019 and the home in the stretch. That's insane. I didn't realize that. When Nightingale wrote that on Sunday morning, I didn't realize it. So if there's something going for us, I mean, there's that. Here's the probable starters, though. So right here, let me increase this a bit. Here's what ESPN lists as the probable starters. This actually has it through the Washington series. And we do see Mackenzie Gore. That might be the first lefty we see in weeks. No, Crochet. So we have Heel against Giolito. We have Fried against Mayo. Warren against Crochet, which might be the most mismatched matchup ever. And then Rodon against Dustin May on Sunday Night Baseball. So we have that. With that being said, the Yankees have a chance to actually, win some of these games, win some of these matchups. And then the schedule gets really soft after that. Then the Nats come to town for 3. The Nationals come to town next week for 3. Then the Yankees head to Chicago to face the White Sox for 3. Or for 4, excuse me. They head to Chicago to take on the White Sox. White Sox aren't good. So then you get, after these tough games, these 6 tough games, you get 7 games where you need to go 6-1 or 7-0 against those teams. If you could beat up on Boston this weekend and then beat up on those teams, this team could really make things happen. I don't think they'll beat up on Boston by any means. Then you head to Houston. Then Toronto comes to town. Then Detroit comes to town. That's going to be a tough series against Toronto and Detroit. Then we head up to Fenway for a 3-game set against the Red Sox, 2 of which are on national TV. So that's the start of a 9-game road trip. That's where it's going to get tough, 9-game road trip. Even though it's against bad teams, it's a road trip. Then you get, once you're done with Boston, the season's effectively over against plus 500 teams. Right, and if you take care of business this weekend, then there's confidence heading up to Fenway. Then it's 3 in Minnesota. They're not good. 4 against Baltimore at Camden Yards. I'm not going to say they're not good because I think they're solid. I don't think they're great, but I don't think they're, anything to poo-poo on. Then the White Sox come to town for 3. And then to end the season, the Baltimore Orioles come to town. And then it's the postseason. We're in the home stretch. We are absolutely in the home stretch here. But this is a big week. This week could decide the Yankee season or not. And I'm excited but nervous to see what happens in the next week. So subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be posting updates before the game, as the game goes on, sort of thing. Follow me on socials